Hello everybody. Today I'd like to talk about a trend I've noticed in video gaming. The fact that games that are rehashes, re-releases, and the like seem to get more hype than actual new games. Now, whenever I see new games being announced, especially in the E3, I noticed there were some games that people were just blowing off saying were meh. But then you have games and long-running franchises or rehashes, or like, let's just say retro remakes or HD remakes. Now, I have nothing wrong with retro remakes or HD remakes as long as they're done in the spirit of the original without changing a ton of crap around, and as long as you actually have a reason to buy them and aren't rebuying the same game you already own. Like, let's just say if you already own Halo 1, there's no real need to go and buy Halo Anniversary. But you've got these people who are like getting hype that they can play the same game they played like years ago. I mean, I saw this with the 3DS. I saw this with the PS3. I saw this with the Wii U. I saw this with... I'm seeing this now with the Xbox One. People are getting more hyped over the Halo Master Chief Collection. While that is a good thing, let's just be honest here. There are other new intellectual properties that people aren't seeming to care about. I mean, people are buying the console over a remake of a game. I mean, if you're going to plunk down $400 on a console or $300 on a console, you want to plunk this down on games that feel fresh and new. I mean, the Xbox One and the PS4 are having them, but then you've got stuff like the Wii U, the Ouya, where you've got games that try to play off nostalgia. And not just with retro remakes, but with games that feel the same, that don't want to change every year, that feel like they're trapped in 2001. You've got games that also feel like they're only doing it because of a brand name, you know, like those musicians that keep on performing even though it's to the point where they're only really good as a band you see play at a casino somewhere because they've long since run their course. And many people know that a lot of people who go to casinos are older people, so that's what they have at casinos. I mean, let's be honest. With Nintendo and stuff like that, and other companies that try to stay in the past, that try to make the same game over and over again, they're stuck in the past. And they're trying to play off of the people who are stuck in the past, too. Like, for example, you've got Capcom with Mega Man 9 and 10. You've got indie game developers trying to make all these 8-bit platformers. And you've got, like I said, these retro remakes. What's the point when you're just going to be playing something that feels like you've played it over and over again? But the other thing I thought I'd mention is when it comes to games like this, you've got stuff like where people will get hyped over a game having a character. I mean, so not only do you have people getting hyped over games just because they try to feel the same as games, because let me end my first argument by saying this. If you really want to play the old games, can't you just play the old games? I mean, is it really hard? I mean, it's not like original Xboxes or PS2s or GameCubes are rare or anything. You can easily buy a GameCube and play the older games, and you don't need to beg for a remake, which might not even be the same as the original. Remember the Star Wars re-releases, which were controversial, or Loudness Wars CD remasters, where they just turn the volume switch up for you and pretty much destroy all the sound quality? Because that is what some remakes are like, and when it comes to games that feel the same, there are some things in older games that should come back, but at the same time, there are many things that shouldn't come back. I mean, let's be honest. Do you think anybody wants to use this film anymore for, like, serious photography? Because no, nobody uses 110 film anymore for, like, real serious photography unless you're trying to, be artsy, play around, make some kind of image with it, like with the grainy 70s look. Unless you're trying to shoot for that, you wouldn't use 110. So Why would you try to have games that are stuck in the past, that are aging horribly? Why would you? It makes no sense. So let me talk about my second point here. Characters. Why is it that people seem to care more about games if they have characters they like in them? I mean, you didn't see Unreal Tournament, you didn't see Deus Ex, you didn't see various other games become popular just because they had certain characters in them. So why is it that you've got games like Smash Brothers where a lot of the hype is because it has a certain character in it? Why is it you've got, to the point where it looks like something out of Mugen? Why does Hyrule Warriors have many of the hype around the fact that it has Zelda characters, when many of these people hyping it never even played a Dynasty Warriors game in their lifespan? Why is it that you've got games such as Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, or the Pokemon franchise in general being around, you can play as this Pokemon? I mean, sure. I like many Pokemon as much as you do, but I'd rather have a game with Pokemon and that is actually good instead of just wasted potential. Let's be honest here. I want to play a fun game. I want something that's actually good. I don't just want a game that I'll buy only because it has Pokemon in it. I have higher standards than that. And yet you've got these games which get hyped up because they have characters in them, such as those games I mentioned. And I honestly don't understand the point of it. Whatever happened to playing a game just because it's a game? Sure, there's stuff like mods like Unreal Tournament where if you want a certain character in it, you can mod it, but let's be honest here. Why would you play a game just because it has a character in it? I want to play a game just because it has a good game, and I don't want to feel like I'm playing wasted potential. I don't want to play a game and feel like the intellectual property is being wasted. I really don't. I just want a good game. And honestly, I want games that are actually good to play, and not just because they have a character, and not just because they try to play off the past. And before people say I'm just targeting a company, like I said, indie games do it, like Capcom did it with Mega Man 9 and 10, and of course you've got games like Wolfenstein: The New Order, Thief, Deus Ex. And this is the last category I thought I mentioned. I forgot to mention this. But you've got games that try to sell themselves because of the name in it. Like Deus Ex, Human Revolution, plays nothing like the original. Thief, piece of crap game. Wolfenstein, piece of crap game that somehow got a ton of hype. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. And honestly, I'd rather play a good game from a new intellectual property than a crappy game with the name of an old school intellectual property. Let's be honest. Movie fans don't like movies when they're nothing like the original and they call themselves something. So why should the same apply to games? That's all.